I'm Jen Thomas and welcome to the latest episode of the Simple Life Chat, where we're recording on site at one of the new build properties at Beam Park in Rainham. So there is lots of work still going on, so you'll have to forgive any of the background noise. Today I'm joined by two special guests. We've got Siobhan and Kaylee. If you would like to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Siobhan Foster. I'm the leasing manager here at Simple Life London, and we've got a team on site who leasing manager myself. We've got relationship managers and also leasing coordinators as well.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Sylvester. I'm the asset manager here at Simple Life London, and I work very closely with Siobhan and the team on site to run the Simple Life buildings that we've got here.
It sounds like there's lots of cogs on the go, lots of different
lots
things, lots of people to work with and liaising with all the different
Yeah.
teams. And obviously we've spoken in previous episodes about the different roles that people have and how it makes the tenants feel welcome. So with the London rental market, what do you think it is currently looking like? Where do you see it going?
I think for me, because London, I think there's lots of things that's happening in the rental market at the moment anyway, and it's booming, it's alive, there's a lot going on, even with being central London, even being just on the outskirts of London. So there's a lot that has changed from, say, 2020. Obviously you've got COVID and stuff like that, so there's a lot of stuff that have changed, and I think it's going back to normal, as you would say. But yeah, there's a lot going on, and I think people are more comfortable to go out and rent stuff, and we've got different types of people that are renting as well. So you've got young professional families, you've got sharers as well. So it's just the same. Even regardless of where we're at, central London here. It's buzzing. It's just a nice buzz that's going on with the rental market at the moment. It's going up. It's not going down, which is good. I like that. And it's busy. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, everything Siobhan said, it's busy. There's, issues with sort of supply and demand. There's lots of people looking. There isn't that many properties in some areas. So you're finding that, rental prices are increasing.
Yeah.
People are coming in with offers straight away, going above asking price because they're so desperate to get the property. It is crazy. Siobhan mentioned about going back to normal, and I agree to an extent, but actually I think it's a new normal.
It is.
Yeah.
Post-COVID, there's a new normal. Last 3 years ago, we looked at everything quite sort of seasonal. There was that cyclical churn. You don't see that as much anymore. It used to be, December and January, very quiet, nothing was happening. It would start to pick up June, July, August, September. It was crazy. But actually, I've seen it way more consistent throughout the year.
Yeah.
A few years ago, February was one of the busiest months, and we were like, "What is happening? It's February."
Yeah.
So I think it's a new normal, but the new normal feels a little bit more even.
Yes.
I think it's not as
isn't it?
chaotic in the summer
Yeah.
as it used to be. It's levelled out.
Yeah.
Do you think, as you mentioned with the pandemic, a lot of it is many people are working from home now, so people are changing what they're looking for and their requirements if they're spending so much more time at home than they used to be, perhaps?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's kind of, you're seeing that people do want bigger spaces. Obviously, they're working from home, so they need additional spaces, but you have people that moved out of London. But then, admittedly, we have more people moving back into London. So even with the international students, they're coming back in now where they want the modern, shiny, brand new stuff. So the mindset is different. The outside space is a massive thing that people want because lockdown, they wanted that kind of space for themselves and stuff. So that's a good thing for the properties that we're marketing. All of our flats have balconies, so they've got that outside space. So that's a big thing that people are looking for, extra additional space. Something that's brand new and shiny, and the balcony space, obviously outdoor space as well. So I think that's a massive thing that people are looking at the moment.
Locally as well, I think people are looking for additional space in their apartments. People are looking for, whether it's on-site amenities or local amenities, people want things on their doorsteps.
Yeah.
They want to be able to, whether it's pop to the supermarket, pop to the pub, it's, some of it's work, some of it's social. People want things in close proximity now. Whereas I think previously people were willing to travel a little bit more for things.
Yes.
I think that's changing. People say, oh no, it's, I can't live here because I need to get here. And they're not making it work. It's an obstacle for them.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting you say that, because I know for me, when I was searching for somewhere to live, the very first thing I looked at was, does it have outdoor space?
Yeah.
Does it have a balcony? Because I work from home, and during the pandemic, having a balcony made all the difference, because I lived alone, you're able to go outside, do your gardening. And I know for many people it's the same thing. It's all in fashion at the moment, isn't it? Doing like growing your own vegetables on the balcony.
Yes.
And I think many people are cautious of, if there's ever a lockdown again, they're now looking at how they're living, thinking, what will it be?
Absolutely.
And it's changed in a way, hasn't it, as you say. So you mentioned about the geography there, about people moving out of London, perhaps if they want more space, but also moving back to London. What do you think is the most desirable at the moment? What are most people looking for?
I think it's convenience. And what I mean by convenience is having the amenities on site. So they're looking for like the concierge, the gyms, just having those things on their doorstep. And they don't mind going that further out to accommodate what they want, because they don't have to travel in every day into the office. Yeah. So they don't mind not being right on top of a tube station. So I know when I worked in central London, everyone's like, I need to be 10 minutes walk from the station. And that doesn't even come up in a conversation when I'm registering people and I'm talking to people and they're looking for properties to rent. So it's mainly having something that's spacious, it's new, it's clean. As I said, those pinpoints of the shops down the road, nice neighbourhood, they've got the parking, it's just having those facilities just here. So I think that's a massive thing that people are wanting, that whole community feel. Here is very community feel here, so like young families and professionals and stuff like that. So you get that a lot on new developments that are around.
I think I think proximity is more important than location as well. You tend to, when you speak to applicants and they say, what areas are you looking for? Zone 3, Zone 4. That's not a location. They just want it close enough to the hustle and bustle of being in the city, but they don't care whether it's east, south, northwest. Yeah. It is proximity more than a specific location, I think. Yeah.
And did it used to be that everybody wanted zone 1 and 2? Has there been a change now that people are wanting to go further out, perhaps for the space, or to not be such in the centre if they're not having to go to an office?
I think so. So you've got, like, as I said, them being close to a tube station, they don't want to be in the city. They probably want to be like near a more greener space. Yeah. And it's not as busy and buzzy as it would be if they were, in a period conversion. Yeah. It's something, and I think with new builds, because there's a lot going up, it's more appealing to people, where they're like, oh great, let's see what this is about. It's nice, it's new, they don't have to do much to it. They're not going to have the normal. If you're in a period conversion, the thing that they would say, oh, it's got damp, or it's got. So this new builds wouldn't have that. That's not the thing you're looking for. You're coming in, okay, what has it got? What can I get from it? Type thing. So there's a lot of factors in when people are registering and looking for a property, and it depends on where they are in their lives as well. So with the international students, for example, they're used to coming from modern. So they want modern, so they want something same, what they're used to, what they're kind of going into. And then the families, I just think they, being in green spaces, you've got the balcony, that community feel type thing. And obviously here, there's a lot going on, what's going to be on the development, as it were, like the schools, the nurseries and types. So that will kind of draw them to what product we're offering, as a company.
I think there's a change in lifestyle as well. So people that used to travel into the office 5 days a week. I mean, I live in zone 5. Do I live in zone 5 or zone 6? I can't remember. But anyway, a monthly cost to getting to zone 1 on a travel card is £200. So actually people that are now going in once a week or twice a week and working from home, they've got more money, which means they're able to increase what they're spending from a disposable income point of view. So then if they're moving out of London to zone 3, zone 4, they're probably saving £200-300 in rent a month. Add on that £200 from your travel, that's another £500 you've got for disposable income. And I think COVID taught people that actually that was more important than being in the centre. I think the centre now is going to be filled with as Siobhan said, the international students. They want to be right there in they want everything.
Get the London experience.
Exactly that. They want to be in the big high rises, right in town. Yeah. And I think actually the people who live and work and socialise in London long term are now branching out a little bit. It's more comfortable. They have as I say, more disposable income, and it's making their lifestyle better.
Work-life balance, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So you're talking about community and the importance of that for people, particularly after lockdown. Many people were living alone, many people spending more time at home. What's it like building new communities in Greater London? I mean, obviously you have different demographics, people from different locations coming to a new neighbourhood. What are some of the challenges and also the benefits of doing something like this?
I think from my perspective, I'd probably pick up on the benefits a bit more. Siobhan's a bit more on the ground, sort of dealing with any issues that do arise. But for me, it's watching that community grow. It's holding those events and seeing people from all over the world, all in different situations, that are finding these common grounds. There, whether it's a food truck or whatever it is that you're doing, they're starting to chit chat. They're seeing what they've got in common when actually they might not have been thrown together in a real life situation for them generally, whether that's social or at work. So I think just watching and seeing those friendships build, and also with the guys that are on site, the relationship managers, the leasing team, when you're crossing people in the hallways, hi Siobhan, hi Roberto, how was that? How was that thing that you did at the weekend? It's community, it's a family vibe, it's lovely. I think it's quite a pride thing watching that, and I've seen a lot of that in my career so far is watching those relationships build, and it be very genuine, very very genuine.
It is. I think it's like for me, it's like an open door policy thing. Yeah. So I like it when they can come in. Oh, Siobhan, and we have a chat, and I absolutely love it. And I get carried away. But it's one of those things when I was driving home yesterday, and one of the guys, because it's a pet-friendly developments that we deal with, so one of the guys came and I just saw him with the dog, and I said, "You've got a dog?" And he was like, "Yeah, Siobhan, I've got a dog." And literally, I was there for 10 minutes, like literally with this dog in my face. Gorgeous dog, but you're building those relationships, and I feel like it makes them feel comfortable. So if they've got any issues, they can knock on the door and be like, "Siobhan, there's a problem here. Can you come and help me with anything?" And as I said, they know where we are. They know when we're in the office. We're there like 6 days a week. Anything is not a problem. So I think that's what they like, that we're on site and they see us every day. And obviously because we do our checks, throughout the buildings, as Katie said, if we see them on the hallways, stand there having a chat with them, and you see it grow and how the area is building up. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously it's regeneration, isn't it? So you can see little things, things happening, and with our block barking, they've got to have the commercial units underneath it. So you can just see it growing as time goes on, Yeah,
and I think it's so different to your sort of traditional renting where you've got Mr. Smith landlord and Mr. Smith tenant, and something goes wrong and they've either got to call the landlord and hope they can get through to him, or they're going through an agent. And property managers in agencies don't have the best reputation. You've got a lot of stock all over the place, and one person potentially dealing with 150, 200 units that could be located anywhere in London. So they're pulled from pillar to post. But when it's you and it's something that's happened in your home, this is your home. This is so important. It's a priority. But it isn't always a priority for the person taking that call. And that makes sense because some things are worse than others. But I think the difference is here is that they can knock on the door. They do have relationships. It's not that they're calling somebody and hoping somebody picks up the phone. They know if they can't get through to Roberto, they call Siobhan or Chloe or, anyone that's in the office. It's more accessible.
Yeah, definitely.
I had exactly the same. Where I live, there's a concierge and my washing machine broke. And the fact that I knew that I could go downstairs, someone would be sat at the desk and you can go, there's water everywhere. Instead of spending half an hour on the phone, having to explain it all, get passed through to someone else. It does make a big difference. And
90% of that stress is gone immediately.
Yes, definitely. I think it's that peace of mind. And sometimes you don't have to go through that, you say that phone call, I need to, report
press
this.
1 for this, press 2 for this,
exactly
and someone will call you back. Usually the guys will be like, which apartment, let me come up there. It's like that, and I think they feel confident that someone is there just to help with anything. They just want to have a chat.
Yeah. That's a really good point. It is. Okay, let me come up and I'll come and have a look for you. It could be a really easy fix, but actually in traditional renting, they're sat there going, I don't know, this is could take hours. This is. I rent in traditional renting, and I've got a problem with my sink at the moment, and it's been going on for about a month, and I'm like, I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered.
It's a chore, isn't
it?
You've got too much to do.
But it's completely different in build-to-rent properties, and obviously that's what Simple Life London is.
Yeah.
You mentioned about the dogs as well. That's my life. I've got a dog, and the building I'm in is pet friendly. And again, that was the other main thing for me. And I think after lockdown, so many people got pets. So it was outside space, pet. It really was a shift in what people were looking for.
Priorities changed.
Yeah. And again, it's like you're never going to complain about seeing dogs everywhere. And it is about building that rapport. And also over lockdown, I think something that highlighted for many people was loneliness. I live alone myself, working from home as well. There were days where you literally didn't see anybody else. And as I mentioned about having the concierge, so it's slightly different where I am, but for one day I'd gone away, so they didn't see me for 3 days, and I got a text saying, is everything okay? Because they hadn't seen me coming and going from the building. And my mum is going, I never have anything to worry about because they're keeping an eye on you and checking everything's all right. And that's not something you would normally have. I've lived in places where I never knew my neighbour's name for the space of 2 years because there just wasn't that community. Now everyone knows everyone where I'm living.
It is massive. Especially in this development, there is a group chat for Bean Park, and I'm involved in that, so I can see all the chats going on. I'm like, okay, and like everyone knows everyone knows what's going on, and it feels good because if there's anything that has come up that probably wasn't brought to my attention, I now know, and I'm like, okay, let me go and knock on that person's door or whatever. So the WhatsApp group, love it, absolutely love it.
And with loneliness, you've got these relationship managers, haven't you? So what sort of thing do they do, and how does that help? And what sort of feedback have you had?
So the leasing team do all of the sort of pre-tenancy stuff. So they're getting people in for viewings. They're doing they're taking the offers, progressing the offers, and getting them to the move-in date. That's when the relationship managers come in and sort of take over. They provide welcome gifts, they do a home demo, and then they become their point of contact throughout the whole tenancy. So whether it is a plumbing issue or something, or even just a question, they're on hand to answer the phone, answer emails, face-to-face conversation to deal with any of those queries and resolve any issues. We obviously have a pool of contractors that we use, and that's what they're doing day to day. And
particularly with like international students, it could be very difficult if you come over and you don't know anybody. This is a whole different way of living. And again, it must be quite nice to come in and there is a community here, and you can introduce them to other people that have come over, and it's just an extra layer, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It is. It's massive where we've had a couple of international students that have left and they've actually come back. So one's come back and he's like, can I move back in? I'm like, well, not to the specific flat he was in, but he's moving into the same layout flat on a different floor. And he's like, yeah, I love it. I love being here. I had to go home for 2 months. Now I'm coming back again. I'm like, yes, and perfect tenant. So once they're used to how we are, I think we'll get a lot of repeat business, them coming back because they know how we work. How we interact with them. There's a lot of like community events that take place, so they kind of see that, and they've got like an app that tells them what's actually happening, and they can kind of there's like competitions that are being had as well on the app. And one of our residents won an experience. One of our he lives in Beachmont House, so he won an experience. So I think once they see that whole kind of community and that we're interacting with them, and not just a landlord, I think they like that. That's a massive thing. And we know it's successful as well because people move within Simple Life London.
Yes.
We've got somebody that's moved from Freshwolf over to Bean Park,
yeah.
and they haven't necessarily picked Bean Park initially. They've called up and said, oh, I need to move a little bit, further out or a little bit closer in. Do you have anything?
But they want to stay with you. That's the most important thing.
Massively. We've had it from up north.
We've had it up
regions,
north, Manchester. They came and I was like, yeah, I'm with Simple Life. I'm like, yeah, great, come on. Because they know how we work.
Well, that's the biggest compliment, isn't it? As you say, if you've got the international students coming back, you've got people going, okay, it may not be the exact location that I want, but if it's with you, I want to move there. And that's loyalty, isn't it?
Service.
Yeah. Definitely.
All said it at the same time then.
I say it's a compliment and it is loyalty, and you can't beat that, can you? Because that's a sign that it's good. I mean, as I say, I've lived places where you're counting down the days until your tenancy agreement ends and you can leave. Whereas here, I happily signed up for another year when it came due for renewal, and that's the sort of thing that you can't fake. One of the other episodes we had the home views where people were leaving reviews and comments, and to see the positivity and the feedback, and then other potential tenants can look and say, oh, actually these are all having a really good time, and people only tend to share things they don't like normally. So to leave things they love, you know it's good and it's onto a good thing.
I do get a kick out of customer satisfaction though.
Yeah. It's the biggest compliment.
Like literally, when they come, they're like, "Oh my God, you've been so helpful." And I'm like, "Really?" It's like, I'm just doing my job. Do you know what I mean? It's just my job. But when they kind of mention it to you, you're like, "Oh, okay, that's really nice." Do you know what I mean?
It's an ego boost, isn't it?
I think
we all love an ego boost. Yeah. Someone says, I'm having a really great time, this is lovely. You go, I'm doing that.
It's true. It's true. That is true, yeah. But I do love that, and I think it's the whole customer service, the satisfaction, and everything. So, and moving is really stressful anyway, regardless of what you're doing. And obviously, it's like for me, I'm like, you can just bring your suitcases and just come in, and that's what I kind of tell some of the residents that we're viewing with them. You just need your suitcase because everything's kind of here, and in our welcome boxes we've got their starter pack.
Yeah,
it's got all that stuff in there. Do you know what I mean? So I like that. It's like really set up home.
Little things like that make a massive difference. To walk into your new flat that you whether it's been let before or it's brand new, like the one that we're in today, when you've got a box in there with some biscuits and a cup of tea ready to go. I mean, you'd be
not having to struggle finding things.
When I moved into my flat, I had to ring the woman and be like, "The washing machine doesn't have a front panel. I don't know I don't even know what wash I'm putting it on." Or I'd had nothing like a cup of tea and biscuits waiting for me. So it's a game changer.
Yeah, that's what you need when moving: tea and biscuits, and it's all there for you. So, how do you think Simple Life differs to other build-to-rent providers in London?
I think Simple Life really hone in on the community. They really hone in on the event side of things and making sure that everybody knows that they're being listened to and all of those things. I think when you've got larger developments and you've got your concierge downstairs and you've got your one person that manages the building, they're being pulled from pillar to post. Simple Life isn't like that. There's quite a big team, and they're there to look after to everyone that's on site. It's not as chaotic, I think, as other build-to-rent sites that I've been to before. It's very calm, it's very chilled out, and it's all about community.
I haven't worked for another build-to-rent company, so I can't give the other side of it. But what I am seeing is that they want to, as I said, I think I keep going back to being accessible and being open. So in our lobbies, in our buildings, we've got these TVs that's got information about who the relationship managers are. And kind of, it was like little questions to say, what's your normal routine in the morning? So it's got little, facts about the relationship manager. So that person who's...
humanising, isn't it? Like, I'm a person, here's what I like.
Right, yeah. So we've got that, and even with our content in regards to our communication via email and things like that, it has our pictures in there, it has our contact, our direct number. So it's not a normal... build-to-rent company. That's from
and that's accountability as well, isn't it? That's going, we're not going to hide away, we're not hidden in a back office, so that you can contact us, as you 100%. Say, if there's a problem, if you want to tell us something's good, feedback, it's all there.
And I like that.
Yeah, I think another part of it is they're looking way more at the location of their building. So instead of having, an on-site gym, a swimming pool, all of these wonderful sort of fancy things that people don't really use that much. It's a great selling point, but it's not as used as I think people think it is. They're looking more at the location and making sure that the location has the amenities that they need, which also is keeps things a bit more price conscious. If you've got a state-of-the-art gym, your rents are going to be 5-10% higher than anything else locally. So it sort of cuts you out a little bit differently.
Yeah, I think so too.
And what's it like for local residents moving into these new spaces?
Well, we mentioned earlier the welcome pack, didn't we? I think it's the easiest thing in the world. It is grab your suitcase. Yes. Most of our apartments are furnished. There are a few that are unfurnished, but generally they're furnished apartments. Arrive with your suitcase, your bag, your boxes, and you're in. It's all ready to go. It's
just ready, a set, go type scenario. You don't have to do anything. You come in, we're here to welcome, as you say, we do the home demo, and the welcome packs that we give them, it's like a booklet, and it tells you, it's like a guide of how to do everything, of how to work the appliances, how to do the heating. I mean, it has everything in there. It's so self-explanatory, and again, if they don't understand it, knock on our door, I don't know how to wear this, can you come? Yeah, no worries, so it's a different, because I've worked in an estate agent where you're just like, okay, you've moved in, here's your keys, thank you very much,
bye.
Bye. Do you know what I mean? So you're just like, so do I need to register my utilities, how do I, this is all done for them, so it's kind of that peace of mind where it's not foreign to people. Just said international students coming over, they're like, what do I do? I'm a bit lost. It's just kind of there, and I think for me, the journey from start to finish is very clean,
seamless.
Yes, that's the right word. Yeah. That's what I was looking for.
I think everyone's had that first night in a new home where you can't figure out how to turn on the boiler, you can't figure out how to do this. You mentioned your washing machine didn't have the front panel, and it's anything that can make that easier, because moving house is stressful enough as it is, isn't it? So trying to find the box with the kettle in, and it's anything you can do, I suppose, to make it that bit less stressful.
Exactly, and we include all of those manuals, everything, troubleshooting, the welcome pack as we've mentioned, and it's all in layman's terms. It's not a complicated brochure of sort of difficult things to do. It's really simple. Here's what you need to do to get your electric sorted. This is who you need to contact to sort out your water bill. All of those sorts of things, really simplified, really, really easily understandable.
Yeah.
We have got a little bit of the building going on in the background. It's not too bad. We're in a new build estate. That's what happens. That shows you how new this all is. In this beautiful home at the moment. I mean, everything is shiny and gorgeous, and I'm admiring the cupboards. I have envy of the kitchen at the moment. But it's about making something, as you say, that people can just move straight into, isn't it? And as you mentioned, what people are looking for is changing. And do you think people's expectations have gone up as well, or what they're willing to accept has changed?
Yeah, and I think that's a generational thing. I have to call myself a millennial. But I think, my generation started expecting more. We're less willing to accept anything but the best. And that's only getting worse the younger the generations become. But it's exactly that. They're not going to come in and go, oh, that blind's dirty, and the landlord goes, okay, deal with it, it is what it is. They are going to expect on perfection, and so they should really. Renting is, they can be expensive, but you want value for money, and if you've got value for money, you'll pay it. You can't charge the same rent to live in somewhere that's not considered as nice or as plush and expect to get the same rent. It's different.
It's all about like the maintenance as well, obviously, of keeping the maintenance up to a certain level for each let that we do. But that's what we're here for, and that is what we do to make sure the product that we're providing new residents, the ongoing residents, that it's still nice and shiny as much as possible.
Exactly.
Because the brand new flats are not going to be shiny all the time. It will get its fair wear and tear, but every let that we do, we make sure that it's at that level, and that they're getting the best product that we can provide them from start to finish. From when they get in contact with us, when they register, the customer service, everything's like 10/10. It's in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's a minimum standard to hit, and that minimum standard is a very high standard, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
And going forward, what do you expect to see in terms of demand for London rentals of this kind in the coming months and years?
I think of this kind is, at the moment, we talk about build to rent, and we all know what it means because we work in that industry or we're familiar with it. Most people don't know what build to rent is. No. They move in and they've got a lovely apartment and they've got, whatever it is that is offered. But actually, the world doesn't know what it is, but that's changing. People are doing this, the podcast. People are writing and publishing reports about build to rent market, and you'll start seeing customers looking purposely for a build to rent product because they're from, so I lived in this block of flats or in this community, and it's called build to rent because they'll start hearing the word, and that's how it gets out, is word of mouth. I think it's low at the moment, but I think over the next 5 to 10 years, people are going to be looking for build to rent products. You've seen it in the States, you've seen it in Europe. It's going to be massive. In fact, it is massive. It's just people don't know what it is.
Yeah.
There's huge pipelines all over the country for build to rent product, whether it's being forward funded or whether it's already sort of built and stabilised. It's going to change.
I mean, I've been telling people, as you say, it's all about word of mouth. You mentioned about the reviews. I've been living in it, and all of my friends that rent, I've been going, have you looked for a build to rent? What is it? Well, I'll tell you. And that's what you want, is you want the tenants to be going and telling other people what a lovely time they're having, and there is another way.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, that it ends up speaking for itself, doesn't it? That if you are loving it and having a good time, you've realised this is an option. I think I mentioned in one of the previous episodes, I didn't go on Rightmove or wherever and search for build to rent. It just so came up that I then went and did a viewing and went, oh, so this is an option. This is
and
different.
It stands out, doesn't it, as being completely different product.
But now I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I would only look for built to rent places going forward, because you don't want to go back to how it was before. And I guess that's your hope as well.
Customer service is completely different. It's a completely different kettle of fish.
I think it's the future, 100%. Like, if you don't, once you've been in one, I don't think you can go back into a normal, say, private rented properties. That's just my opinion. Because I look at this, and when I'm showing people around, I'm like, this is what I'm showing you. I know I'm showing you a great product, So I know what I'm giving them. So, if it's not for you, let me try and find something that is for you, kind of thing. Even if this location is not great, we've got some in Barking, we've got new projects coming up in Acton and Walthamstow. So if these locations are not for you, we will find something for them. But once they've had an experience with build to rent, I don't think they would ever go back. I mean, I would live in a place like this. I mean, I live in a new build now, but it's I think it's the way forward. Yeah. Very much so.
I think that's that. I think that's a mic drop moment. Thank you so much for joining us today and for your time. So Siobhan and Kaylee, and for all of your insights.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks so much for having us. It's been really fun.
Yeah, it has been, isn't it?